but then it's a bit too late. You have to ride the clutch a little bit when you're trying to control your speed. I'm going to show you how to master the clutch control in under 10 minutes. Last time I made a video like this, I ran a little competition where I asked you guys how many times I said the word clutch, and this person is the winner. I'm going to message you so I can send you your prize. And to keep this video fun again, I'm going to do the same competition. Tell me in the comments how many times I've said the word clutch, and from the people who get the correct answer, I'm going to select one winner again and I'll send you a prize. One of the hardest things to do in a manual car is moving off. The mistake that people make with this is they move off with the clutch way too quick. So like that, you see, I've stalled there, then the car restarted itself, and it was really jerky because I brought the clutch up way too fast. That's the biggest mistake. What you want to do instead of doing it like that, so you noticed I brought the clutch up really quick in less than a second almost. Instead of doing it like that, I'm going to take my time and take about 3 seconds or so to move off. When the car's moving 1, 2, 3, and then I slowly release the clutch. That way, you saw how smooth it was. There's no jerkiness. It didn't stall, and that's how you move off in a manual car smoothly. The thing is, when people start learning to drive, once the car starts moving, they think, yeah, it's time to come off now, and then they stall. When the car starts moving, that's the time you want to hold the clutch there at that same position. The car started moving and then I came off. That's going to stall. But once the car starts moving, I'm going to bring the clutch up just slowly like this. And then that way it's going to work. So let me show you. So once it starts moving, hold it still and then smoothly bring the clutch up. Now in this car, I can move off with the clutch really easily without any gas because the clutch is quite strong in this car. In some cars, you won't be able to do that. Once you get to the biting point, the car will cut off straight away if you don't have any gas in the background. And that's because the clutch is really weak, or it's just the way the car's been designed. If you want to drive every single car properly without stalling, you're going to have to learn how to use the gas as well as you're moving off. Now, when it comes to using the gas, what a lot of people do when they start learning is they use the gas too late. So they'll get to the biting point and then bring the clutch up and then they'll start using the gas. But then it's a bit too late by then. So let me show you the correct way. So once I get my biting point, I'll go straight to the gas while my foot is still at the biting point. And then I'm still got the gas on, and then I'm bringing the clutch up, and you can see that way it's really smooth. You're way less likely to stall that way. You can even use the gas before you bring the clutch to the biting point. So gas and then clutch to the biting point, and then hold the gas still while you're moving. That way it's going to be smooth and you won't stall. Right now I'm super close to this car, and if I do the clutch control wrong, I'm going to end up getting too close. Let me show you the wrong way. Let's say I'm parked up like this and I'm trying to move out. What some learners will do is they'll bring the clutch up really quick like this, and you see I'm about to crash into the car because I brought the clutch up way too high. The higher you bring the clutch up, the faster the car will move and you have less time to steer. The correct way is to hold the clutch still, maybe even bring it down a bit as you're moving. That way you can control your speed really well. Let me show you. So now this time I'm going to control the clutch. So I've got my biting point and the car's moving slowly. And then I bring it down a bit to control my speed. Up a little bit, and then down, up, and then down a bit. This way it gives me time to control my steering, gives me time to go around this car safely without getting too close. I get asked a lot about how to change gears smoothly, and the mistake that people make is they'll change into second and then yank the clutch up straight away, and then that way the car's gonna shake or it's gonna jerk a little bit. When you're changing gears, you don't have to bring the clutch up as slowly as you do in first gear, but you still want to bring it up smoothly enough so that the car doesn't jerk. Let me show you on the next one. So this time when I change into second, I bring the clutch up smoothly and then add gas. That way it's not jerky and it's smooth. Another important thing as well is you don't want to change gears at the wrong time. So you don't want to change gears when you're going too slowly. So if I change into second now, I'm going kind of slow for second, and I go into second and then I bring my clutch up, it's going to be jerky. Or if I change it when I'm going really fast as well, let's say I'm going too fast for a second, if I change my gears like now and I bring the clutch up, you see the car has that jerk motion. It's not a nice feeling. Instead, make sure you're doing the right speed for that gear, and that will depend on your car as well. Once you're doing the right speed and you bring the clutch up smoothly, it's going to work. Moving uphill can be quite scary, especially if you're not comfortable with the car rolling back. It's quite a scary feeling. Now, to avoid rolling back in the first place, what people do wrong is they don't have the biting point first before they release the handbrake, and then that way the car starts rolling back, or they'll come off the brake too early before the biting point and then the car rolls back a bit. Rolling back in itself is not ideal, but if you get used to that sensation of the car rolling back, it's not as scary and you can fix it before it becomes a big problem. What you should do, go somewhere quiet on a hill like this and then practice rolling back a little bit and then catching it like this. Catching the clutch at the biting point as the car's rolling back, and then that way you're not going to get scared of the feeling of rolling back a bit. All you have to do is just catch it quickly. Because the mistake that people make is when they feel the car rolling back, they panic and they go, oh my God. And then the car stalls because they brought the clutch up too fast because they're panicking. But if you stay calm and when the car's rolling back and just go to the biting point, the car's not going to roll back anymore. You're not going to stall, and then you can just move forward nice and smoothly. Adding lots of gas in this situation when you're rolling back is not going to help anything if the clutch is in the wrong place. So let's say I'm trying to move now, then I add lots of gas, but my clutch is still not at the biting point. You see the gas is going really high, but the car is still rolling back because the gas is not going to do anything if the clutch is not at the biting point. So make sure that you get the biting point and then add gas. That way the car is going to go in the right direction. Adding lots of gas won't do anything if the clutch is in the wrong place. So I'm on this hill right now. If I don't do it properly, I'll roll back, but I can just catch it like this and then carry on without panicking. So this time I'm going to do it correctly without rolling back at all. So I've got my brake on, get my biting point, and I can feel the car shaking a little bit, so I know I've got my biting point on, and then add gas while bringing the clutch up smoothly. I didn't panic there and bring the clutch up fast. I brought it up smoothly. If you prefer using the handbrake to do hill starts, make sure that you got the biting point first before releasing the handbrake. And I get asked as well, how do you know you've got the biting point? There's different ways. Firstly, with the handbrake on, when you bring the clutch up, you can see the front of the car raising a little bit and the back of the car will dip down a bit as well. That's how you know you've got your biting point. And then once you've got the biting point, then you want to make sure that you release the handbrake with your foot still at the biting point and then releasing it slowly while adding gas in the background. This is a mistake I see lots of learners making, and I also get it in the comments, people asking me, but I've got my biting point and then the car rolls back. That's because if your car's rolling back after you got your biting point, what I've seen a lot of my learners do is they'll get the biting point, but then when it's time to move, they'll dip the clutch down a little bit like that, and then the car starts rolling, and they start thinking, wait, why is it rolling back? It's because you had the biting point, but then you lost it when you dipped your foot down a little bit. So to avoid that, make sure that once you have the biting point, don't dip your foot down anymore, keep it there, and then raise it a tiny bit, slowly. That way, the car will not roll back. If your car is rolling back, it means you've lost the biting point and you need to try regain it again. You need to know when to use the clutch as well. So like right now when I'm braking, I don't need to use the clutch because I'm just slowing the car down. But coming to a stop over here, because this junction I can't really see properly, I'll need to use the clutch now, because if I don't, the car will start shaking and then it will stall. And once it's time to move again, bring my clutch up smoothly, counting to 3, and then coming off while adding gas in the background. And then once it's time to change gears, smoothly up and then back on the gas. So you notice the whole time I'm doing smooth movements. If I do rough movements, it's not going to work. Let me show you what I'm talking about. So like right now I'm going to use my clutch, going to first. When I move off and I'm going to do it the wrong way, I'm going to bring the clutch up too fast, and I'll show you what could happen. When it's time for me to move, bring the clutch up like that, you see, and then I'll stall in the middle of the turn. Instead, I'll bring the clutch just to there, 1, 2, 3, that way I won't stall. If you're trying to move in slow traffic, the worst thing you can do is bring the clutch up really high like this, because you see there the car goes fast. Instead, when you're trying to move in slow traffic, you want to bring the clutch just to the biting point like this, and then down again. Up a little bit, and then down again. This way, it controls how fast you're going. And you get lots of people saying, oh my God, but isn't that riding the clutch? You're riding the clutch. You have to ride the clutch a little bit when you're trying to control your speed. It's what the car is designed to do. If you don't do it that way, it's going to go too fast. When it comes to reversing, the worst thing you can do is bring the clutch up too high. Otherwise, it's going to go way too quick into the space and you're going to crash into the vehicle that you're trying to park next to. So I showed you earlier about bringing the clutch up and then down again. I'm going to use that same technique, because if I bring the clutch up like this, you see it's way too quick and I'm going to end up missing my space or crashing into the car. Instead, I'll bring it just to the biting point and then down a little bit. I don't even need gas for this bit here. I'm just going to use my clutch control. So like now it's down all the way. Up a little bit. I've got my foot on the brake, but I'm not actually pressing, I'm just covering it. Up a little bit, out all the way down, and then brake. That way, nicely controlled it. Even to go forward, it's the same technique. So if I bring the clutch up really fast now, I'm going to crash into this big BMW here and the person won't be very happy. Instead of bringing it up too fast like this, you see, I'll end up going too quick. I'll just bring up the clutch a little bit and then down, up and then down. And then once I'm happy that it's in the right place, clutch all the way down, brake, neutral, and then park up. So I hope you enjoyed that video. Let me know in the comments below what other stuff you want to learn and I'll make the video for you. Or make sure you're joining our private community where you can get personalized videos, shout outs and lots of other benefits. The link to join us is right here underneath this video, so make sure you join and I'll see you in there.